Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Sylvia and I make videos on planning with occasional review. Today is going to be an update on my November setup. I'm going to move the makeup off to the side. We'll do that last, so if you don't want to watch any of that or hear about makeup, you have the planner stuff first. I am still using these Bic pens in a fine. They're just great. I love them, inexpensive, and they write nice for my terrible, terrible handwriting. Still using these two guys, so let's start here. This is the Moleskine, and it is in A5 size, which is more narrow than the Leuchtturm. This is just aligned. It allows me to have limits with what I'm doing in here. If I have grid or dot grid, it's easier to make columns and other things, and I just want this to stay very, very simple. So here's where we are for next week. I've already got that set up, and these are books that I already have, either I've started or they're on deck. This is the end of this week. We're on Sunday the 20th, and I've started to read this book called Hush Hush. This is a paranormal romance about angels, and since my niece Jade and I are writing a paranormal romance for NaNoWriMo, I like to read kind of what I'm writing so I know what I like and what I don't, things that I want to change, things that I wanted to know that weren't in that book. I tried to incorporate into my own writing. So I haven't actually written any summary for this. I'm only three chapters, excuse me. I'm only 3 hours in, but I'm going to sit down and fill this out and probably listen to another hour today. Last week, I got reading done. I didn't like either of the books that I read, and I took notes. So I read The Luckiest Girl Alive. I don't recommend it. The Night Circus, that was a very hyped book for no reason. No reason at all. And that's all I have to say about that. So this is working out really well. I just need to keep up with it. This is the first, journal I think that I'm not going to abandon, and it's kind of weird to call it a journal because it's also somewhat of a planner, because I'm trying to keep track of what I'm reading and when I'm reading it, and this is going to be kind of the first /journal planner that I'm not going to abandon. What do I mean by that? I have planner friends in real life and on YouTube that I've met, well, obviously they're real, but you know what I mean, that I have never really met, but I've had relationships with on YouTube, who have mentioned that they don't just stop planning or journaling in whatever they are in just because it's a new year and they want to start fresh. And that to me was like, what? I'd never really considered that or thought about it, because I always start fresh in the new year. So this is actually going to be my reading journal for a while. I mean, I'm only, where am I here? I have this much blank pages left, so I could be in this for probably half of 2023, in case you're watching this in the future and you don't know what year it is. Yeah, so that's kind of crazy to me, and I feel like I'm okay with it because this is working just fine for me and I'm really happy with it. So I don't know what to do. I was going to start in 2023 my Hobonichi Mega as my reading journal, but because I tried out the Hobonichi I have now for 2022, I switched over and tried that as a reading journal, and I just didn't like it. I still hated the paper, and I was like, pass. I don't want to play with Tomoe River paper right now, especially with a reading journal, because I jot things down while I'm in bed, when I'm sitting at a table, sometimes when I'm on the go and I have some thoughts and ideas about the books that I'm reading, and I write stuff down. So Tomoe River paper really doesn't work well for that. I need a flat surface and I need to write very neatly so things don't smear, and it's just not what I want to do. So I will be taking this into 2023. And the last thing that I have been using for November is this. So still in my Leuchtturm cover, this is in an A6 size. I have my A6 pocket Leuchtturm 1917 and an A6 pocket insert that I cut down to match this. Long term over here, and then this is just my everyday carry. In the front, at the beginning, I am still using the Frankenlog Light system, and it's okay. I think this works really well when you have a lot more heavy planning. You can see that I haven't even filled out A to Z. There's still some blank spaces here. And so it's working out okay. I kind of switched over to what I was eating and watching instead, because I don't know, at some point this was important for me to do and to learn what habits I had, how many times I did something in a day or in a week or whatever. Not so much anymore, and that's okay. So if you're someone who needs to trick yourself into habit tracking, I recommend doing this instead of a graph, because the graphs never work for me. It just seems like a really big task and I always fail at it. But this is something that might work for you instead. On my to-do list for November, I'm chipping away at things. We're doing NaNoWriMo, my niece and I. We are writing a paranormal romance, which I mentioned, and it is YA. So I've been chipping away here. We did 5,000 words, 10,000. We're almost at 15,000 words. We are on November 20th right now, so I doubt we're going to make 30,000. For NaNoWriMo, you are supposed to reach the goal of 50,000. I knew we wouldn't, and so I made it pretty low. We might not make 30,000, but we've gotten the book started and we're having fun. Finally made that pumpkin cheesecake. It's so good. It's in a 9 by 11 inch pan. So I'm going to be cutting that up and sharing it with a couple of my aunts and my mom, because it's a lot. It's meant for like, you know, like a family dinner, like Thanksgiving or Christmas. But as I mentioned in the past, we just have so much food that I don't get to enjoy the desserts. So I decided to make it about a week before family dinner, just so that we could enjoy it. So still working on a few things, still have 10 days, 10 days left to finish off these things. I'm confident that I will. Some things I need to schedule for December. This is sort of just my forward planning here. I've tried to have all of the months in one place. That doesn't work for me. This seems to work better, and even though I'm not using like a whole page, it's still pretty helpful. You can certainly, and I could certainly, replace this with a sticky note and just move it, you know, section to section, or have it on the monthly, but this is fine too. Not too serious. My weeklies for November have been pretty sparse in comparison to other months, just because I was getting over COVID here, and I can no longer blame COVID because I'm pretty much good. There's a few times at nighttime where I get these coughing spells, just because I think my throat's dry. I've been talking all day. I get a little bit more winded throughout the day, but other than that, I'm golden. So this was, well, technically this is this week because it's Sunday the 20th. I still had some space here. I did check off some things, but I lived and died by my weekly this week, and that was an absolute mistake. Here is next week. I just have, you know, what books I like to keep it here because I check this every day. I just like to keep what books I have on deck and books that I'm currently reading, so that I don't forget them. So let's go to the dailies. The last daily I had was on November 12th. We're currently on November 20th. So what I learned in this past week of not tracking as much, I don't know where I am. Here we are, right here, on week 46. I learned that if I have an entire week, if I have 7 days to do all of these things, I will blow them off until day 7 and try to do them all on one day. So I have so much to get done today in order to not have a bunch of forwards. I actually have more stuff to add to this list as I'm realizing, oh, this was stuff I was supposed to get done this week. And that is kind of overwhelming and it sucks. So what that means is I need to continue with my dailies. They are important for the reason that when I make a huge list out of all the things I want to do, I challenge myself to do them. You know what I mean? So if I don't make a list for the day and I get up and I'm like, okay, these are some things I know I need to do, because I look at my weekly or I look at my monthly at those lists, I do some things and I feel like, okay, I got stuff done. But when I don't write it all down and I don't see it on the page how much I didn't get done, I don't realize that I could have challenged myself to do more. Okay, so I am not managing my time well or my days well. I'm basically having 1 or 2 days a week where I try to do everything. And sometimes I'm getting a lot of it done, and then sometimes I'm just having a ton of forwards, and that is ridiculous. So if you're someone who works and has children and you find, well, that's how your life is because you have maybe Saturday and Sunday off, and those are your 2 days where maybe you get to do a few things you like, but mostly it's just errands and chores and cleaning things. That's really rough. It's hard, and you have to try to find more of a balance. That's not my situation. Yet I'm living as if I am I am completely working and a mother all of the time and only have 2 days to do errands and house chores and all of these other things. Now, it's true that I try to write 5 days a week at the very least, and some days I'm writing 7 days a week, but I still have to balance out my chores and my errands and things. This was a week where my sister was over a lot and I was helping her. I was running her around and doing errands for her, which I don't mind doing. She needs the help. And then my mom had her own things she had to do because my mom usually stays with my sister a lot. So I kind of was thrown off by that as well, but that's still not an excuse anymore. I can't say, oh, therefore COVID anymore. And that's why nothing got done. I'm just not working on balancing things as well as I used to. And the dailies really help me do that. And so I have learned my lesson. I am going back to dailies to help me, have more of an even week instead of trying to pile things on in 1 or 2 days of the week and feeling bad about how I don't have time for things. And I'm hoping now that I've really started to appreciate that and understand that things will go better this week, because this last week just was terrible. I was terrible. So I'm going to sit down off camera and really think about the things I need to get done. I might even go ahead and draw out the entire week. So it's easier for me to, instead of just putting things on here, writing them on the day I think I need to get them done, so that I can see, especially some of the things that I have to do on multiple days, instead of just saying, okay, I need to try to finish this 3-hour project on Monday, which is not going to happen with everything else I need to do. Schedule it for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 1 hour a piece, if that makes sense, because I need to do something. I was really struggling, and I felt not only like I was failing, I felt stupid. You know what I mean? When you feel stupid because you're just not managing your time well. Okay, so that is everything that is in here. So that's all the planner stuff. That is my plan for the week, is to just manage my time better. I don't like doing the time ladder situation. It really doesn't work for me. The best thing that I can do, the best advice I can give you, is if you have something you need to do. Like this week, I needed to do a lot of online shopping for the holidays and things that I can't get here in store. I set a timer for 15 or 20 minutes, and I need to get the shopping done online in that time. And I know that sounds kind of funny for some people, but if I don't do that, I will spend an hour shopping online for shit that I don't need. So if I do things speedy quick, give myself 15 minutes for this task, and I move on, I will get it done in a more proficient manner than I would if I were going to just say, okay, I need to shop online, because I'll be on there for 3 hours. The same when I'm trying to clean things or do any kind of project or task, I try to put a time limit on it. If I go over a little, I don't feel so bad, but I realize that, like, when I go and I wash the dishes and I put on a show while I'm washing the dishes, I take a long time to do them. If I set an alarm, like not an alarm, but a timer on the oven for like, okay, I want to do all of these dishes, wipe down all the counters in 30 minutes, I go faster. I work harder and it takes me less time. So that's something I recommend that you try this week if you find some of these tasks are taking a lot longer than they should. It's probably because you're not telling your brain, hey, speedy quick, let's get on with it. So that's everything as far as planning is concerned. Now, I just wanted to mention something that I thought was really important about this makeup before I say goodbye. Okay, so let's start. Where do I start? Let's start by saying this. I'm not a makeup guru. I like what I like. I've had a lot of little makeup subscriptions in the past that I've canceled because after a while I had a ton of makeup and I had a lot of the same stuff. They start to repeat after a while. So I canceled them, and I, in the past, have loved the Too Faced face primer. So I went ahead and I purchased this. I haven't had it in a really long time, but I had a couple of the samples in the past and I really loved this one the most. So I went ahead and I picked this up. When I turned about 27, 28, when I was close to 30 anyway, I decided to move to a medium coverage foundation. Well, I'm 41 now and I've started to get some, what would you call them? They're either sunspots, aging spots a little bit. And so I am looking into what products you can use for that, or if I decide I want to go to a doctor to get them removed. It's just, in a lot of people's cases, it's going to depend on how serious, how dark your age spots are, how many you have. So I'm looking into that currently. But for right now, at 41, medium coverage is not working anymore, and I wanted to go ahead and get a full coverage foundation. And so this I think is relevant because, like a lot of people out there, when we're going into winter, a lot of us have lost any color that we ended up getting in the summer. My skin really doesn't hold color at all, so I don't change that much in the summertime. But I was watching a video and this woman was just so smart, and probably other people already know this, but I thought I would share it because I didn't. So what she said was that she really liked these Tarte foundations because they are full coverage, and it does say that on the back here. So full coverage, 12-hour power. What she said was, listen, Tarte makes these travel-sized foundations and concealers. And so they're a lot cheaper than buying the larger bottles. So if you're not sure about your skin tone, like what color type you are, because I've never used the Tarte before, she said the best thing you can do is buy the travel sizes because they're cheaper, and you can buy 2 or 3 different shades and mix and match, because a lot of people are in between the colors. And I absolutely am always one of those people that can never find a foundation, just one, that matches my skin. I usually have to mix 2. So these are the 3 that I ended up purchasing, and these little cute travel size, for your convenience, like Mushu, foundations that are full coverage. And I'm mostly these 2. A little bit of this and a little bit of this is pretty much my color, which means in the summertime, these 2 are probably going to be my color. And at the end of summer, I'll probably just be this one. So I chose pretty correctly. I was pretty sure that these were the ones that would probably work best for me. And I'm happy to say that they do. They were a lot cheaper than buying the full-on bottles. So now I get to play with these for a while before I decide which 2 I want to buy, or if I want to buy all 3. And those are going to be my foundations for the year. Does it suck that I have to buy 3 whole foundations in order to have myself covered for winter and summer? Yes, but that's, sort of the world that we all live in, because nobody has that, like, I've never actually met anyone, none of my friends that wear makeup, that actually have one foundation all year round. My sister's pretty close because she's very dark and stays dark all year. But sometimes in the summer she has to mix another color. So there's that. And of course I went ahead and I got the concealers as well, and I bought 3 of them because I did get the smaller sizes. So therefore I could go ahead and find my perfect concealer color. These are the 3 colors that I ended up choosing. And I find that I'm mostly this one right now. And then of course I thought I would share these. These are the NYX Butter Glosses. These are the only things I really wear on my lips other than a lip liner. They are so amazing. They taste good. They smell so good. Even this clear one smells exactly like the other ones. Sometimes you just want to kiss someone and then you don't because you're wearing a lip gloss that doesn't smell good, it doesn't taste good, and it does feel like flypaper. This is the opposite of this. It's beautiful. It wears off lightly and leaves you with a kind of a light stain. It's really pretty. I did get this one. I've never owned this one before. Oh, I love the way they smell. I highly recommend that if you do get one of these, you go ahead and wipe it off every time. Like if you're going to wear it on top of a matte lipstick or a lip liner, that you wipe it off before putting it back in here, because this is going to get very muddy very quick. And that's one of the reasons why I never purchased it. I don't have a beautiful lip color naturally where I would want to just put this on my lips. My sister does, and she definitely uses things like this, but I don't. So I would probably want to put at least a lip liner under it. So I have to be very careful not to mix the color in here, because then it's going to be no longer clear. The other thing I purchased, because honestly, this is what's funny. I bought like 5 of these and I've already opened the other ones to try them on. This one I haven't tried yet, and this is one that's my favorite. It's called Angel Food Cake. I already have some of these. I just bought an extra one because I start to run low after a while. Then I got a Naked palette. I was meant to only get concealer, but this is what happens when Sylvia, goes shopping and she doesn't give herself a time limit or, any of those other things. Here is this gorgeous palette. It's called Reloaded. This has like material on the outside. It's beautiful. This is like my 3rd or 4th Urban Decay Naked palette. I love these eyeshadows. They always look so nice. They work so well with my skin tone. You have like the peachy pinks on this side, and then you have more of the neutral tones and browns that I absolutely love. This color right here, Dreamweaver. Oh my God, y'all. I can't wait to try that because it looks beautiful. I also like how the lighter colors that you would use on your lower lid are bigger than the rest. And then these two, Boundaries and Barely Naked, they're a little bit smaller. And then I think there's 8 of these colors here. They're the smallest. So there's 3 different sizes. So I think this palette's going to be great for a nice smoky eye. I have brown eyes. It's going to work well for that. And it's also got some light colors in there for the summertime. So very, very happy with this purchase. So anyway, if you're someone who's also getting ready for winter time and you've lost a lot of your summer tan, I recommend trying out, and I don't know what other brands have these little travel sizes, but if you haven't tried Tarte, I really do love them. I've tried a lot of their other products, never the foundation. I've already worn the foundation yesterday and it worked out so well, especially with the powder that I have. So I had no like cakiness or cracking at all in my face, which was great. And I wore it the entire day when I went shopping in the bigger town. I shouldn't probably be telling you this, but I'm going to tell you this in case you didn't know. I didn't want a Sephora card because I would go crazy. I would go crazy, and the challenge of having the highest card and the most amount of points, I would go out of control. But what I found out is that Target online actually has these higher brands. This is where I got all of this from. And so you can use your Target card, which I did, which I know I probably shouldn't be telling you. Maybe if you have a Target in the city, they carry these higher end makeup brands. But I don't live in a city. I live in like the smaller countryside. So our Target does not carry these brands. They carry like NYX, but not these guys. You have to buy them online. So there's that information. I'm so sorry. All right. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.